Hi there and welcome back to my channel. This is Sean, the Honest Book Reviewer, with another book review. In this video we're discussing Holly, written by Stephen King. I really enjoyed this book. I like the characters, I like the story, I like the mystery, I like Holly's character especially. Holly is one of my favourite characters that Stephen King's ever given us, and there's many characters to choose from. In this book as well, I like the culprits. The culprits are so engaging. There's also this gothic type horror feel to them, and there's quirkiness in the book as well to many characters, but that quirkiness just suited the book so well. This whole book just works so well in my opinion. It's a fantastic story. Discussing this story without giving too much away is very difficult, but I'll try my best. So basically, this story is set during the COVID pandemic. So if you don't like stories set during COVID, don't read this book. Maybe wait a while, because this book does mention COVID a lot. It's set right in the middle of the outbreak. Anyway, Holly's mother has died from COVID in recent history in this story, very recent history, and she's closed down her agency for a little while, just to cope, just to process all that. But she's getting these calls from somebody, and it's constantly coming through to her phone, and she gets curious. She's wondering who it could be. So when she listens to this, it's from a woman called Penny. It's about her daughter, Bonnie, who's gone missing just recently. And Penny's wanting somebody to help her. The police aren't helping, not investigating. They think Bonnie's run away. Nobody wants to try to find Bonnie, apart from her mother, it seems. So Holly calls Penny back, and that just leads Holly down this trail that leads to more mystery, very deep mystery it seems, quite dark as well. Quite dangerous, we find out as well in the story. But Holly's determined to try to find Bonnie, dead or alive. I don't want to talk about the mystery in Holly's investigation too much in this video because it will give too much away. There's many twists and turns and surprises very early on in this story. The mystery in this story is not the type of mystery where you won't know who the culprit is. We learn who the culprits are very early on. We've got chapters from them early on and all through the story. And it shows us their history a bit in the story as well. But I enjoyed that in this book. I usually don't like mysteries where we learn who the culprits are, but in this book it worked, because we get to learn just how evil they are, also how quirky they are, and that quirkiness added a lot to this story. And those chapters with the culprits had a gothic horror feel for me as well. They are sinister, they are evil, they are quirky, they're also just creepy. Those chapters are very creepy as well. They're spine-tingling actually, those chapters. Many moments you'll start to cringe in those chapters as well. I did. I found myself cringing a lot during those chapters with the culprits. Just with the things they're doing in those chapters. Very cringeworthy, and Stephen King didn't hold back, I feel. Stephen King, I think he enjoyed writing those chapters and just thinking about the reactions readers would have from those two characters in that story. Can Holly solve the mystery? And it's all about following Holly on that journey. That's enjoyable. That whole journey Holly goes on with the investigation, I found that so engaging, so enjoyable. I was just immersed in that story with Holly. I really enjoyed that back and forward in this story between the culprits and Holly. And I just loved that. It didn't feel cat and mouse at all, really. It just gave us different points of view in the story. It gave us more understanding of who the culprits are and their history. And just that journey that Holly goes on to try to discover the culprits. I really enjoyed that because in that journey we have growth for Holly as well. And I love the way Holly's mind works in this book. And again, Holly is just one of my favourite characters of all time in all Stephen King books. I really enjoy her character. I like the way she's constructed. I like her complexity. I like everything about that character in these stories. So a little bit about the book in general. So it is past and present narrative. There's many storylines going on in both past and present. There's a very complex structure to the story, but it works. It's handled very well. I think King just wove the storylines together very well indeed in this book. The chapters have different feels to them, so that's good as well. So when you're reading different chapters with different characters, it's a whole different atmosphere to those chapters. So the chapters with the culprits, it feels very gothic style, gothic horror style in those chapters. With Holly, it's more about the mystery, different atmosphere. And we have Holly's mind going on in that story as well, which brings something different to those chapters as well. We have chapters from other characters as well. Sometimes the chapters do divert from the mystery a little bit, But I didn't mind that because it gave us more background to those characters. It gave us more growth to characters as well in the story and made them feel more real. Because if this was real life, Holly would be investigating and other people would have other things going on in their lives as well. So it just made it feel real in this story to have other things going on for those characters that are big in their lives, not so big in Holly's life, but just having characters having big moments in each of their lives, important things they're worrying about or concerned about or excited about, just added so much to this story and made everything feel so real. All the characters in this book are engaging and well written, all of them. Holly, of course, without saying for me. I like Holly's character so much, but other characters in this story as well, very well written, great characters, they all make sense and they all add so much to this story. Even characters who were there for only small sections, very minor characters, they're well constructed, well written and feel real in the story. King can write characters very well, and in this book he flexes his muscles a bit about writing characters. I enjoyed all the characters very much. Holly for me is a perfect character, and I'm going to mention Holly in any book she appears in because for me she's one of the favourite characters of all King's books. Her character is so complex. She's got many different facets to her, many traits to her as well, many quirks to her as well, and that balance is so well done with her character. It'd be so easy with Holly to let certain quirks or traits take over and have being overbearing in the story, but King balances it so well. This is a character that King says he can't let go. Holly's always on his mind. He has to give Holly more voice in stories, and I'm so glad for that, and I wish for more books with Holly being featured in them. Barbara is a great character in this story, stood out for me a lot. Great character growth and development. I like her in this book. I like the way she's just presented in the story. I like her storyline about, trying to meet her idol, getting to meet her idol, and then going forward with her own creative work. I like everything about this character. It adds a lot to the story. I like the way she kind of intertwines with Holly's main storyline as well. Not all the time. She has her own things going on, and it makes it feel more real, the way that happens. I just like everything about Barbara's construct in this book. Pete is another great character in this story. Most of Pete is off stage. He's more of a sounding board character for Holly, but he's very impactful and very engaging, even though he's more of a sounding board off stage character. He's that character I think that everybody will like. You can't help but like Pete in this story. It just feels like one of those characters that is very comforting, that people can go to for help or to talk to or just hang out with. It just feels like one of those happy-go-lucky, relaxed characters. That's what I get from Pete in this book. I enjoyed this book so much. The characters, the mystery, the different feel to the chapters as well, the whole construct of the story just worked for me so well. I rate this a 5 out of 5. In my view, it's a fantastic story. I recommend this very much. Holly is one of my favourite characters in King's books of all time. I think the culprits in this book as well, they're some of King's best villains he's written. I think those culprits are so well written. There's so much about them that's engaging. They're quirky, they're sinister, they're downright evil. There's so many things about them that just drag you into their chapters. I really enjoy those characters in this story. On my channel I review many horrors. If you enjoy horror, check out my channel and subscribe. On the screen now is a link for a video to another book I'm sure you'll enjoy.